Good evening. Hand tonight, it's King Jack off on the button. So we have villain 5 limps. We got 17 hands. He's played 71% of them. Pre-flop raised 6%. So mid position, basically 50% of hands, hasn't raised any of them. So this guy is going to be very, very loose. We're going to say at least 60%. He hasn't raised. We'll say we'll get rid of those hands and go from there. So if it gets to us, what do? We're on the button. I think this is a suitable place to raise. I think we're going to look to isolate. We don't know what he's really going to do versus a raise. Hard to say with such a small sample, but you can see limp and call to raise 75% of the time, limp and fold 25% of the time. So he probably just folds out, big raises maybe. And if he folds out, he might just fold out some of these offsuit hands. So if I'm going to raise, I think we should probably raise about 5 or 6. We don't really have any information on these players. I think raising standard 4 big blinds can work. But, if he's going to call, might as well just increase the size because he has such a wide range. He's going to miss a lot and, he'll probably fold. Fold to cbets, 2 out of 2 in position, 2 out of 2 out of position. So I'm glad I raised 5 big blinds, and he calls. So let's get our ranges in here. That is 31.2%, 414 combos. Their range, pretty darn wide. We're looking at 56.7. He has 752 combos. We'll put today's date before I forget. Alright, so the flop comes out. Queen of diamonds, Jack diamonds, 4 of clubs. Queen, Jack, 4 of clubs. So my range is 54.5. Theirs is 55.5. We definitely have a range advantage. I think ace king's in our range. I don't think it's in their range. We both have the ace x diamond hands. I do think ace king diamonds is in our range. We know we don't have ace queen, ace jack. So what's going to happen? He checks, and I'm going to say he probably checks everything right at this point. And now we have to look at what we are going to do. I think this is a board that's going to get calls. So we're going to have to think about our value ranges. I think we could probably get by with betting a middle pair for value because I think we're going to, with a player like this being loose, he's probably going to call some draws. I think we're going to be betting gut shots. These combos, we're at 46.6%. If we bet maybe these pocket pairs below, these are going to kind of be bluff / value. Maybe a little bit more bluffs, because I think what we're hoping to get is some of these hands to fold. Maybe even ace little, king little hands where if a king or an ace comes on the turn, it's going to make our life hell. So I kind of think those are somewhat of a bluff. And same thing with the bottom pair hands. I think they're kind of somewhat as a bluff, and that gets us up to about 60%, which is probably okay. Because I think if we bet that range, I think he's going to call his pairs. Not sure if he's going to call pocket pair below second pair. 4 times he's faced a c-bet and he's folded all those times. He might be super wide pre-flop and hoping to catch some sort of draw. So I think he's going to be fold. He's continuing 57. He's calling 52%, or he's folding 52%. I think that's kind of like his range. So let's see what happens. I do think we should be betting maybe 6 big blinds, 7 big blinds or so. I didn't do that, which I don't like. I didn't do that. Based on this player, I didn't do that. So let's do this. Well, that's the hand that I think we should have bet. So we miss a cbet when I think we should be betting the majority of our range. All right, so this is the hand that I wanted to cbet. So let's go through and take out these cards. And I'm sure my thought for checking here was one about if I had a queen or a jack. He's got such a wide range, but that he's probably going to fold a lot. So I'm hoping that he catches a turn card that's going to pay me off. But I actually don't like that at all. I don't like that play at all because I think he's going to be calling with a lot of hands that I currently beat. So that's my range. He didn't have to call, so he's going to have his entire range still. That's 317 combos. Oops. No, he's got 665 combos. All right, so 7 of clubs comes out, or 7 of spades comes out. And that's, you can see now, since I missed my cbet, now villain has range advantage, or he has more equity than we do. He checks. And now, given our hand, I don't think we can check at all. I think I don't think we can bet. So I think we are still going to just be checking here with our entire range, because if I bet, I don't really think we're going to get any folds. So I have 142 combos, and I did check. He still has all his range. So that's 630. And we get a 9 of clubs. Range is equities 26, and his is 74. He checks. What can I bet? Again, by the time we made it to this hand, I mean, you can see I've got maybe a weak pair, ace high. You know, there's no value to betting. I mean, if I bet, he's just going to call, and if he calls, he probably has me beat. So, believe it or not, I did bet. So, what of these hands could I bet? It would have to be a weak pair. And then, of the hands that I think he calls. So, I think going twice, I think he would have bet at least something. So I think middle pair could call, because I do think straights would have bet, sets would have bet, 2 pair would have bet, top pair probably would have bet, you know, at some point either on the turn or the river. Maybe not the turn, but definitely the river after we checked. So I bet half pot, he calls. I show my jack, he shows queen 9, which Does he show queen nine? No, 9-8. So he's got this, weak pair hand. And let's think about this. So I think if we go back here and we bet how we should have bet. Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that he calls, right? With that 8-9, and then the 7 of spades hits, all right? And then with 7 of spades hitting, I do think we continue betting our top pair because I think there's still hands that are going to be betting. I think we are going to be still betting the flush, open-ended straight draw. Definitely a flush draw because I think if the diamonds get there, he might not call again. So, I think we bet again to try to get some value from the flush. And same thing with the open-ended straight draw. I think our gut shots. I don't think we're gonna be able to bet all of our gut shots. Definitely, we'll have our diamonds. We'll the combo flush draw with the gut shots. We're gonna be having those, but I kind of think we're gonna be betting this. We're gonna be a little bit more value, and when we bet that, I still think he's going to be calling top pair. He's going to be calling flush draw, open ended straight draw. Not so sure he's going to call a gut shot anymore. Because, with the 8-9, he has to catch a 10. And it's not like he has diamonds. So if he didn't fold the flop, I think he's folding the turn. And I think that's the value. We have these hands that don't have any pair, and he's going to fold. And we take it down. I also think if he would have called one of the pairs, let's say pocket pair below that second card, so maybe 9s or 8s or 6s or 5s, I think he can find a fold with it to a turn bet. So we bet, let's say he calls with those, and then we had 9 of clubs. You can see we still have advantage. And now, we're going to take that 9 of clubs out. If we bet, I kind of expect sets and 2 pairs to raise. So it narrows his range down a little bit more. So when the 9 of club gets there, you can see that we do have some equity. And now if he checks, what are we going to bet? I think 9-10 hits. King 10 obviously hits a straight. That is a possibility. Or can we get 3 streets of value? Obviously, I think 2 pair plus is going to be betting. Can we bet over pairs for 3 streets? Yeah, maybe. I think King Queen, Queen 10 could call. So let's do this. Let's take those out and say if we bet, he is only going to call top pair plus. So you can see with the overpair, with this call, we're going to be ahead when he calls. If we add in the top pair, we're still going to be ahead. I think it was when we get down to nothing. And the reason is he's only calling 63.7%. Now, if he starts calling all of these, we're not winning as much, but he's also adding a bunch more weaker hands. So, I do think we missed the cbet, even with the king jack. I mean, we have a vulnerable hand. Yeah, he could have a queen, but I also think he's calling with diamonds. He's calling with straight draws, probably the gut shots, and then he's probably giving up on the gut shot. And if he doesn't give up on the gut shot, he's still gonna call. Turn. It gets us value. Now on the river, should we be betting that top pair? I'm kind of thinking maybe not. Well, should we be betting that middle pair? Where'd my middle pair go? Nine of clubs. Oh, because we were checking that middle pair. So that's what we would have bet if we didn't, because we have a middle pair here. We have that. Okay. We've got the middle pair. He has all hands. And now when the river gets there, I think the question is, if we bet, I don't think weak pairs is going to call. I don't think ace high is going to call. I don't think our hand is going to get value when we bet those middle pair. If we bet middle pair and only middle pair, you can see that when called, we're going to be way behind. So I don't think that's a value hand. I think we just check behind on the river. We got one street. All right, so kind of a strange hand. Not really sure if I like how this played out. I really think we should have cbet here. And probably would have checked the turn. Possibly. Really, I guess the turn decision then. Anyways, if you like this hand, look tomorrow for another hand.